first of all, why am I here? Why am I able to actually talk to you about this? We've been driving design agency for about 17 years. I'm the founder and CEO of this design agency, working with fashion brands on strategy, branding, design, and product development. And I'm also the CEO and founder of Porsche.cloud, which is a cloud-based software platform that helps fashion brands streamline their operations, create responsible products, and move towards circularity. And so I'm going to go through this presentation to you from the eyes of a product. So we are going to look at how brands can integrate circularity at every stage of a product's life cycle. And my goal for you with this presentation is to inspire you, to motivate, and give you ideas to implement and to actually take action on. And so a couple of stats. We've got 92 million tons of textiles waste that are produced each year. That's quite a lot. The consumption of clothing and footwear is expected to increase by 73% from 62 million tons to 102 million tons. We've got 57% of all discarded clothes that end up in landfill, and about 12 to 15% of fabrics used in production, they also are wasted. And in Europe, we're looking at about 26 kilos of textiles that are consumed per inhabitant every year. That's quite a lot. And so textile to textiles recycling, it's about 1%. And most of it ends up in incineration or in a big pile of other textiles. So facts, of course, we listen to the new EU legislation coming, which is coming in hard, and it's not only in the EU, but it's also coming to Canada, it's also coming to US. And so the industry needs to change and is pushed to change from a linear economy, which is take, make, use, and waste, to the circular economy, which is basically putting materials back into circularity so we can create new products instead of it being wasted. And so as Pete Seeger sang, remember, this is 20 years ago, if it can't be reduced, reused, repaired, rebuilt, refurbished, refinished, resold, recycled, or compost, then it should be restricted, redesigned, or removed from production. It's kind of where we're at. So circularity, we're not looking at circularity as recycling. We're looking at circularity from actually preventing waste in the first place. And so, of course, everybody's talking about circularity, collaboration. It all sounds fancy and great, fantastic, but it all comes down to the figures and to numbers. And of course, companies, they want to earn money. So that's where actually the big question mark lays. But companies are moving towards circularity. They're looking at the 4 Ps, and they're looking at people, planet, profit, and purpose. And of course, they are earning money, but they are also saving money. But at the same time, they're making big impact with the most leverage, with the minimal environmental damage. So we're looking at these companies, circular brands. They are being efficient. They have optimized operations. They save a lot of time within their operations. They decrease the use of resources. They do actually more with less, and they bring in revenue with new business models. So opportunities. If you have a boss and they're like, yeah, I don't really believe in circular solutions, show them this slide. So we're looking at, for the market value, we're looking at secondhand and resale market value. We're looking at almost $300 billion opportunity. And for the rental business model, we're looking at about 3.6, and that's going to increase. And so for the repair market value, we're looking at 3.5 to almost $4 billion. This are huge opportunities. So circularity is an investment. It's not good to have. And so fact in terms of a product and in terms of a product life cycle, how many times a garment is worn is the biggest factor in its environmental impact. And that's why I'm going to focus on the product. And we heard about the emotional aspect before, but in terms of longevity for a product, these are the three most important things you need to have in this type of product. So first, it's attached to the physical aspect, which is, of course, the product, the actual material, the durability, exactly how the product is functioned and designed. Then we're looking at the emotional one, which is, of course, if your grandma gave it to you, it's emotional, you have memories with it, you love it. And then the psychological, which is actually intentional. Like, I'm going to buy underwear, you're only going to use this for a year, and then you kind of need to toss it. it. Or you're going skiing for a week and I am not actually going to keep this product for like tens of years because you're only going to skiing for a week. So it's these three in conjunction with each other that are the main topics for the longevity of a product. And so here I'm going to give you 18 tactics for how to build a long-lasting circular brand. First, we're looking at removing the overproduction. So 30% of the products created are overproduced and they're not sold. So what we're looking at is actually implementing a demand-driven production and to design out overproduction. So we're looking to design, sell, and make model instead of a design, make, and sell model. So basically, don't sell stuff that you're not. Don't create stuff that you're not going to be able to sell. And here are a couple of questions that you as a brand or as a creator can ask yourself for minimizing overproduction. So what does the product do for the customer? Is it wanted? Do they actually want this product? What are your best sellers and worst sellers? That gives you a huge indication on if a product is bad or good, if you should keep selling it. What products do you do best that no other company does? Lean in on those. You can drop the 25% of the collection that is actually a really bad seller. And also what products are most representative of you as a brand. Focus on those. And what products have you already designed that can be tweaked or refurbished or somehow like redesigned so you can push those into longevity. And then we're looking at designing for purpose and function. Of course, we want products, and as a collection, you want products to complement each other, not compete with each other. So you want to make sure that the product has some sort of a purpose, not just like, oh, I'm a creative, this is great, I'm going to create this. What does the product actually do for the customer? Does it have an intention? And also, most of the things and products that you're looking at today are overly designed. Do you need to embellish it with all the stuff? Most probably not. All the things that you're putting on the products, do they need to be there? Most probably not. So we're looking at reducing as much as possible and focusing on the function that the product is going to have for the end consumer. Durability, this is a huge topic, of course, because this is where, in terms of design and in terms of product, this is where you can do and have the biggest impact. So, of course, we're looking at using strong, quality, durable materials and components and construction methods, but we want to choose them to match the product, what the product intention is, and also for the intended customer. That's a huge important part. So in terms of materials, we're looking at the right fiber, the right strength, the right weight. In terms of finishes, of course, use eco finishes like anti-stain or antimicrobial, so you don't have to wash products for too long. The right components, which is like strong and not really fragile ones, and also components that you can actually replace if they get broken. You're looking at the construction to have the right type of seaming, right type of thread, and opt for easy repair construction. You have no idea how many brands we've talked to, and we're looking at the design and the product. We're like, okay, so where does the thread come from? What thread are you using? And they go, it's local? They have no idea. And where does a product mostly break? It's in the seams or in the zipper. So it's a lot you can do there. And also, of course, do a lot of testing. Because of the rushed schedule that we have within the fashion system, many companies don't have time to actually test their products. But there's facilities, third-party facilities, so you can test the materials in the front and then also do human testing. A lot don't even test their products on actual humans. And then we're looking for timeless design. So we're looking at creating collections not that constantly change, but that keeping a certain percentage of the collection that is carry over. So the customer knows what product to come to you for because they know that it's a consistency, but also these type of products, they are not following any trends. So you can constantly, use them in your wardrobe, you can change them up, you can style them up, you can style them down, and they are constant in your collection. There's nothing that goes out of fashion in the next season. And then we're looking at versatility. Right now, we want products to do more for the customers than the customers buying more products. So we want the products to be used in many different types of environments and conditions. And also, we want to use fibers that can do quite a lot and kind of be adjustable with the weathers, with the moods, with the abilities, and where the customer is actually wearing the product. And then we're looking at designing for minimal water, energy, and chemical use. And here is, of course, look and opt for the materials that actually use less water, that actually have a less environmental footprint on the in your collection and in general. And so opting for more natural type of fibers is a way to go, for example. And we're looking also at minimal waste, because we've talked about 15% of the waste being just, like waste just from the production. So here, how can you look at design to actually opt for zero waste, for example? Or how can you rework the waste that you already have? How can you use that? There's designers that use this to make small accessories or some bags or other type of products, but make sure that you're actually using up the waste that you're creating and that is naturally left over. And this one's huge and quite interesting. 1 in 2 Gen Z consumers, they purchase a product that's like non-gender. And of course, this is really a smart way of decreasing your SKUs, growing your color, but potentially your color base, and just making sure that you're opting for one product that can be used for multitude of genders, but also in different environments in different ways. And it's something that you can keep as carryover constantly. And of course, it just makes it's a smart decision from a money perspective as well. And when we're looking at comfort and movement, this one is most designed for a silhouette, or, I want it to look like this, or a vision. Yes, but the products are actually worn by people. And if a product is not sitting well on a body, I mean, people go touch the garment first, they take it with them to the dressing room, they put it on in the dressing room. If it fits, they take it and pay it. If it doesn't fit, they leave it there. So comfort and fit is crucial. And here you can cheat a little bit. You can look for adjustments. You can use stretch parts, for example. But also one of the most important, crucial aspect is to use skilled pattern makers. Some are just leaving it up to chance to the factory because they have their own pattern makers. Yeah, but do you know if they're good? Let's hope so. But just making sure that you use skilled pattern makers so the products and the garments move with the body and not just hang on the body. And then we're looking at designing for easy care and repairability, because now the system, we want products to live longer, to be put into resale platforms, etc., and recycling. So we're looking at a product, it needs to be easy to repair. Yes, of course, you want a certain trim, etc., but can I buy a second one if it breaks, or if the seam breaks, or if the tape rips, can I send it somewhere? So it's your responsibility as a brand and your designer to think about the afterlife and the repairability and easy care of the product, not just I'm designing, I'm doing my tech back. And also here's some examples of companies that are really good with also educating the customer, because it's not just about, yes, now I've made it perfect for afterlife and repairability, ciao, off you go. You need to actually educate the customers so they understand how to repair it, where to go, what to do it, how to wash it. Because many people don't even know how to wash their products. They cut off the labels, and so they screw up their garments in the washing machine the second time they put it in there. Designing for long-term value. This one's crucial because right now we're seeing on the second-hand market what type of products are best value. So right now, the customer, especially the younger generation, my daughter included, she's 14, she already thinks when she's buying a product, she's thinking of the second-hand value. So she's already doing that calculation, meaning that you can't produce shit products and expect them to sell a lot with high value on the second-hand market, because that's not going to happen. So it needs to be a quality type of product with good make, good quality material for it to keep its value on the second-hand market. We're looking at designing with technology. And what this does for a brand is that it saves time, it saves money, and it enhances the creativity, so you can opt and you can see more solutions. Instead of having a sampling and product development time for like 18 weeks, all of a sudden you can do it in a couple of weeks instead, because it cuts so much time. You don't need to send the stuff back and forward. In terms of returns, this is huge because a lot of products get returned, but then they end up in landfill instead of being put back into the system. So if you want a circular solutions, technology are your friend. And of course, in terms of creativity, I'm sure you already know this with, of course, ChatGPT and Midjourney, and there's some other fantastic platforms as well. But technology is your friend, and it will not take over your job, which many think. Let's look at some new business models here. There's been quite a lot of business models already. Many companies are not really seeing the return on this, but this is a long-term strategy and not a short-term goal. So we're looking at the resale, rental, subscription, pre-order, remade, and repair services. And right now, we've worked with a customer, a brand. They are actually earning more money on their repair service than they do on their from selling their product. So it can be a very good business model. Designing for recycling, of course, this is kind of gets back to the designers and back to the product development area, is that what's happening with the product when it goes into recycling. And so here you have to look at, of course, monomaterial and also easy disassembly to make sure that the products are easy disassembled so they can be put into the system. Right now, a lot of recyclers are very different, working on different technologies. So here it will be need to be a very close communication between the brands and the recyclers to make sure that they are doing the right thing so the recycling can be easily facilitated. Upcycling, this one's fun and a very good way of, again, using waste. So what can you do with the waste and with products that you potentially have gotten sent back there's a minor issue with it? What can you do with it? How can you build your brand with these type of products, create special projects, etc.? But also, like Ray-Ban, it's their entire business is on this specific topic. So it is yet a really good business model. Then we're looking at storytelling and engagement. Of course, the end consumer, they don't know you exist, they don't know your goals, your plans, whatever, if you don't tell it to them. So storytelling and engagement is really crucial for you to build a sustainable, long-lasting brand. So here we're looking at creating an emotional link between the brand and the product through the storytelling. So why was the product created? What was the story? What great materials or technology did you use as a brand? What are the unique value propositions for the product? And what does this product have that no other product has? Tell that story. And we're looking at transparency and traceability. And we heard about digital product passports before. And digital product passports, of course, they will be a must. But right now, we're looking at it as as a company, Porsche, which actually delivers this technology. We're looking at it as not just now we're compliant, check, we're done. As a company, this is a connecting point with the end consumer. It's a way for a brand to build itself and to connect and to have trust and build loyalty and to bring the customer back into your own world. Because you don't want to send the customer to another resale platform, to another company. You want them to stay in your world. You want them to buy from you. You want them to stay connected. And also through the DPP, our solution also integrates so you can actually give the brand feedback. If there's something wrong with your product, you scan the code and then you give feedback to the company so they can create better products and create a better business. And then we're looking at advocacy. A lot of companies right now, it's been quite, with the world, where the world is changing, so they don't dare to say anything. They're just like, meh. But then you're not attracting the right type of client. So we need to look at advocacy, because without advocacy, you cannot create change. You cannot create the movement. You cannot build a tribe of people that are passionate, that are willing to go with you and believe in your mission, in your core and your vision. So being able to push this is actually quite easy right now. You can do a lot of events, of course, through social media, which you can do constantly. Blogs, publications, exhibitions, conferences, festivals, create events like this. So it's just that you need to decide and push forward with it. And so a circular future, we're looking at the actual middle part there in between the product quality and durability, a circular solution or several circular solutions that you might choose, and transparency and connection. So that's where you can have the biggest impact, but you need all three. And we, as a company, we were so fed up about that there was no one place for circular solutions. on the internet that you could find companies that you can collaborate with. So we built it ourselves. So right now, you can go to sustain20.com if you're a company, whatever, and you have a circular solution, or you want to collaborate and want to have partners, you go there, you either find a solution, there's over 250 companies on already, or if you already have a circular solution, you register there and you put it up. And it's free to use and free to add, because we want the fashion industry to collaborate now. There was quite a lot of discussion on collaboration here before, and it's through facilitating and making it easy for everybody that we can actually do this. And here's what type of companies you can find on there. And so, yeah, a lot of talk, great, but how do I actually do it? How do I go about to implementing this? First, of course, you need to decide. You need to say, and the leadership board needs to say, okay, circularity, this is where we're going. We need to implement it right now. And then align all the entities and decisions to actually match it. And then one really easy, simple thing is to do business cases. Because you're not as stupid to start a project, but then you haven't calculated on it, and you don't know the ROI on it. So it's very easy to chop it up in bits and pieces, create baby projects, like just made up projects, and then do business cases on this and see what the ROI could be on it long term. And then I would recommend to start with the low-hanging fruit that has the biggest impact, but with the most leverage. So we were the people that created the linear model, but we're also the guys that can actually go, and we have the power to change to a circular economy. And even though our industry is in a mess right now, there's still tomorrow. And so there's a little glimmer of hope. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can do that here. If you want to check out Porsche, you can do it here. Thank you so much for listening.